The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily represent those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting group. If you or anyone you know might be interested in making a television show, please call 260-421-1250.
Hello, everyone. It is November already. Is this working? Okay. And I'm tired. The gallery is put together for another show, 60 artists this time. It's gorgeous. It looks really good. You guys did good. 250 pieces, roughly 250 to 300. Yeah. It's a big show, and this time, because we've extended hours, added days, stuff like that, you're going to need to sign up for 4 times to help instead of just 3, because we're open extra days, and we're also expecting a lot more business, and we really need to keep an eye on things, if you get my drift. It's holiday season. A lot people come in with shopping bags. We just want to make sure those shopping bags have the same things in them when they depart as they did when they came in, unless they've paid for something. But no, we had that problem a little bit in October, so we want to keep an eye on it. We have been lucky so far, but it did happen, and we need to make sure we're fully staffed, and the staff is up and about and in the store, not just always behind the desk. We got to be more proactive this time.
Maybe we need a guard at the
Well, I don't know. Do you have a gun? Because I don't. So, and I'm not going to intimidate anybody. So, this evening, we have a program, and I'm going to let Hillary go ahead and introduce our program tonight. This is Hillary Couture, our Vice President.
Back to my size now. Well, if you are like me, when it comes to computers and digital art, you're pretty clueless. So our guest artist tonight is going to enlighten us with her knowledge and expertise. And her name is Cassidy Bueter. And she graduated from University of St. Francis with a degree in animation and digital illustration. And she does a lot of freelance work. She has worked with companies such as Blue Pony, and has done several animated shorts. She not only does digital art, but she also enjoys lino-cuts and creating comics. And if you've been to the gallery, you've probably seen some of her work. Her favorite subject is her cat, Butters. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Cassidy.
Hello. So can everyone hear me? Like on Zoom? Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure I've got the mic on. Okay. So today I'm going to be talking about digital art, which covers a wide variety of different things you can do with a computer. It covers photography and animation, illustration, graphic design, a whole lot of things, but we're going to just be focusing on drawing and photo editing. So let's get started. The first thing we should talk about is hardware, because you need to have a computer to do art on your computer, basically. Thankfully, it's not too hard to get into digital art. Because especially if you want to do photo editing, you really just need a computer or a tablet. if you want to do drawing, what you will want to get is some sort of specialized drawing tablet that you can draw directly on as if you're using paper and pen. A lot of, if you have an iPad or something, similar to that, Galaxy Tab, that sort of thing, you can draw on those. They actually sell pens just to draw on those types of computer tablets. But if you want to draw on your computer, which you absolutely can, they have specialized drawing tablets that just plug directly in there. A few popular brands are Huion, XP Pen, and Wacom. And some of the tablets have screens that you can draw on, and it'll show you what you're drawing. Some of them don't have screens, so you just watch your computer monitor. And I actually have both kinds of tablets with me today. So this right here is an example of what a screen tablet looks like. And I have mine over here. It's not plugged in because this computer doesn't have an HDMI port. Most computers do. This one just doesn't. And then the other kind just looks like this. Is that bringing up? Oh, I don't want to. Yeah. Oh, it's bringing up Walmart. Is these at Walmart? Anyway, it just looks like this, basically. Of course, there's different sizes and different brands, but that's generally what they look like. So that's hardware. Software. Some software you can get is free today, and some of it costs money. So different photo editing softwares that you can get are GIMP Photopia, which we'll be using today, Photoshop, and some others. And then as for drawing software specifically, some good ones include Krita, Clip Studio, Procreate, and once again, Photoshop. And we'll be using Clip Studio today as well. So, yeah, that's that part covered.
So where's a good place to purchase some of this stuff?
So I got the question, where's a good place to purchase things? And a lot of tablets that I've bought, I've just found them online. Wacom, Huion, and XP Pen all have their own websites where you can buy the tablets there. As far as software goes, most software also has its own website, and you can download it directly from the website.
But are there any stores in Portland where you could just go to this? I don't want to go to this stuff on, but if that's what you want to do.
As far as stores, a lot of this stuff is more specialized than what they carry in stores, unfortunately.
I think Best Buy had a Wacom. It was last when I went, but it was several years ago.
Yeah, it's possible it could be at Best Buy.
Probably Arts United.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... So yeah, the questions are, can you get it in stores? And unfortunately, you can't really get these in stores. It is mostly online. So that's a bit of a drawback. Okay. So next, we're going to be talking about how to use the actual software. So first, I'm going to show you how to do some photo editing. Let's see. Oh, yeah, the first one. So this is the program Photopia, which is actually a browser-based program. And this is free. So if you really wanted to do some photo editing tonight, you could just go online and get this for free. It is with ads. Sorry about that. It does have ads for the free version. I'm not sure why mine has ads because I bought this. I might not be logged in. I thought I was. Sorry about that.
Just type that into the search bar.
Yeah, so you just search this online and it'll bring you right to it. So I'm going to bring up a picture here by going to File, and then let's open this up. There. And then there we go. Let's stock. Just use this. There we go. So right now we're bringing up a photo of my sister, actually. Once it loads. There we go. And I'm going to show you a few tricks on how to edit a photo so that it looks nice. Because this photo is already pretty good, but we can make it better. Come on, don't do this. There we go. So the main advantage with digital art is that it works in layers. And I will be demonstrating how that works. So right now we have 2 layers open. We have just, although they are identical, 2 layers of just this picture. So we're going to be making a new layer. Just layer, new layer. And I'll be showing you exactly how these work. So we have this picture, and you're working on your picture. Well, what if you just do something like this, and all of a sudden it's ruined? Well, the good news is because we drew in a brand new layer, we can just go over to Yes? Yeah. There should be a way to full screen this. Oh yeah, full screen. There we go. That's better. You're welcome. So what if we just draw all over this and now it's ruined? Well, because we drew in a new layer, we can go to our eraser tool, and it will only erase the stuff that is on the current layer we're working on, which is just this red line. So everything underneath it is perfectly fine. Or we could delete the whole layer, and that'll also take care of that. But how else are we going to make this image look good? So here we can make some adjustments to boost the contrast a bit. So I'm going to bring up my levels tool, and if you see this graph in here shows like the light and darkness of different parts of the image. And we can just tweak it a little here and a little bit here. And then this is for midtones, but we don't really want to mess with midtones because those look fine. And now it has boosted the contrast a little bit. And we can also do the same for saturation and a number of things. A lot of digital art is just messing with it until it looks right. Then, yeah, let's see, do we want to boost the saturation? Maybe. There we go. Oh, that made it extremely blue. We don't want to do that. It's just messing with it. There we go. That looks nice. And so this is our current project, and then this is how it looked before, because I have 2 layers that I'm working with. You always want to do that just in case you mess something up. So that way you can just go back to the original if you need to start over. Let's see. I can't really put them, so I was just asked, can I put these 2 side by side? I can, but I would have to adjust a few things here. Because we can also do a number of different things. Like we can, let's see. There we go. Image canvas size. So if we basically double this, let's see, 200%. Come on. There we go. So what we can do is we can do this and then take our move tool and move these around. And now you can see it more side by side. I am using a pencil to do this with, someone just asked. Every tablet has like pens that come with it. These don't write in ink. They're just there to like click around with. So hovering it over the tablet will move it around, and then touching it to the tablet will allow you to click, drag, draw, all that fun stuff. And then there we go. So we made this look a little better, but let's talk about fine details here. So zooming in, there's also, we can do a number of things to improve this further. So we have a few stray hairs over here, and there's an easy way to get rid of like little stray hairs, a couple blemishes, and that is with the spot healing brush tool. And someone asked if it can take 20 years off. Maybe if you use it right. So this spot healing tool, you draw over the area, and it takes the pixels that are around the area and approximates it so that it can get rid of little details you don't want. Now, it is easy to misuse this tool, and not just for making the image look a lot younger, but it cannot enhance her lips. That's another tool. That's actually liquify. But it can, because it's just making a guess as to what you want it to be, it can make stuff that looks a little freaky. So in a moment here, we will see what I mean. So, yeah, you don't want to do this because that looks bad. So yeah, we're just going to, that's too small, draw over those hairs, and then it will take those away. Just a couple little stray hairs, that blue in front of her face. There. And it just magically erases things. So that's one of the many things we can do with Photoshop. Well, or this, which is technically not Photoshop. It's really similar to it, though. But another thing we can do is there are these two tools called Dodge and Burn. If you have ever done darkroom photography, the symbols will look very similar to you. But this symbol that we currently have is the Dodge tool. It looks like a little lollipop. You may even confuse it with the Zoom tool. Let's see. Okay. I'm trying to... Oh, I can move that. You can't see this, but the zoom was getting in the way of something I wanted to do. Zoom the program. So let's just change this to like 20. So this is what the Dodge tool does. The Dodge tool makes small areas of the image lighter. So if we want to make her eyes a little brighter, we can just run our mouse over the eyes and it brightens those up. And then the Burn tool does the opposite. It makes things a lot darker. So we go to our Burn tool and then let's make that a little bigger. Maybe we want to make this part a little darker and that will darken that up. And that's what that does basically. There's also the Clone Stamp tool. The Clone Stamp tool is kind of similar to the Spot Heal tool. The Clone Stamp tool will take an area and then, you know what, it's a little difficult to explain, so I'm just going to demonstrate it here. Let's zoom out a little bit. So say we want to take this part of the water and put it over here so we get more of a dark green color. You hit Alt and then you select that and it draws it on the other side. And this can be used to get rid of a lot of things you don't want in your photograph, but I don't want to do it here. And so that's a few little correcting things you can do. But what if you took this color image and you were like, I really need like something that's black and white. So I'm going to duplicate this layer just in case I mess up. And we're going to go to I believe it's under here. Yes, under adjustments, black and white. And this will turn it black and white for us in a moment. There we go. So it's turned it black and white, but what if we want to make it even better? So as you can see here, there's different colors listed beside this image, and we can adjust how strongly we want it to affect different colors in the image. So we want to bring out her hair a bit. Maybe we want to mess with the greens, make the background a little brighter. Let's see, bring up the red. And we can adjust it in so many little ways to make it that much better and make it pop that much more. And now it's black and white. But what if we want sepia tone? Well, here's where layers get really fun. So we're going to make a brand new layer. And let's pick a color of beige here. There, about this looks like it would be a good sepia color. And over here we're going to, yeah, it's under here. No, it's not. There it is. We're going to take our paint bucket tool and we're just going to paint everything beige. So you may be wondering why I did that. Well, layers are more than just protecting you from your mistakes. As you can see under the layers here, there's different kinds. We're currently on normal, which just makes it do exactly what you expect it to do. But let's pick a new layer mode, like overlay. And all of a sudden, we can see the image again because it has changed how this beige layer interacts with everything underneath it. Actually, I think soft light would do better. That's a little too soft. But that's okay. We can just mess with this, get a new color, and adjust until it looks right. That looks better. That's nice and warm. Yeah, that's how photo editing can be done. There's also the liquify tool, but that one takes a lot of finessing to do. Actually, you know what? Let's look at filters here. So, oh yeah, you can hide layers if you don't want to see them right now. So let's go back to this image and let's apply some filters to it, because that's another thing you can do in Photoshop or Photopia. So what do I want? How about this? Can be cool. Okay, that was a weird filter to use. But a lot of filters have a bit of a, why would I ever use that quality to them? Although some of them are genuinely quite nice. Let's see. This one's pretty good. Unless I'm confusing it with something else, which I could be. I am confusing it with something else. I'm sorry about that. So yeah, it's looking through different things that you may or may not want and seeing if they're good or not. Someone asked how to access Photopia, which is the current thing I'm using, and it's just photopia.com. they're all their screen mode, and we're gonna take it off full screen here. And yeah, see? Oh, I clicked something wrong. There we go. But yeah, photopia.com. Some of the programs you do have to download. This one is just in your internet browser. So again, if you want to go home after this and just start messing with it, you absolutely can. You can do it with a mouse. It doesn't have to be done with a fancy drawing tablet. I mean, if you want, you can still get the drawing tablet. But yeah, this is very, very easily accessible, which is why I decided to show it today. It's also a lot cheaper than Photoshop. A lot cheaper, trust me. Someone asked if I have others of the photo editing software that I have on today's handout. I do have GIMP, which I've found to be pretty useful, and I have used Adobe Photoshop quite a bit. That's mostly what I used in college. Oh, GIMP is free. Some of these others I don't remember. I listed them on the list in case, just so you had options. This is not a complete list, by the way. There's more that I didn't use. But these are some of the more common ones that I wrote down. So next we're going to look at how to do drawing in Clip Studio Paint. This is mostly what I use because it's an excellent drawing program. This is Clip Studio Paint under Drawing and Painting Software. It's the second one on the list. So I'm going to show you how to get started with drawing. So we're going to go to File. Someone asked if Clip Studio is free. It does have a free trial, but it is not free. However, this is also a lot cheaper than Photoshop. It is $50 for the Pro version and $200 for the EX version. However, that is a lifetime license. Photoshop is a subscription service like Netflix. So now that we're opening a, oh, someone has a question? Oh, yes, I do have them, and we can email those out. So I have them on Word, so. Okay. Yeah, I will send those handouts out after this. So when creating a new document, there's a few things that you want to keep in mind. You want to make sure you're making it larger, as large as you need to, or even larger, because it's easy to shrink down a large picture, but if you try to blow up a small picture, that's where you get a pixelated nightmare. So here we're going to convert this to inches. You can change the unit as much as you want. Inches, centimeters, pixels. Others are available. So right now we have it in inches. And especially when you work in inches, you want to make sure you have a good resolution. Resolution is the amount of pixels that are in a single square inch of your image. For print media, if you plan to print it out, basically, you want to have at least 300 pixels per inch as your resolution. If it's just going to be online, 72 is perfectly fine. So we're going to make a new document. Actually, I think I made this too large, so I'm going to change image resolution, which will allow me to make it a lot smaller. There we go. So making it smaller, it really just affects like how long it takes to save, as well as how big it prints in the final product. But I'm not too worried about this because this is just a demonstration. So we've got a new document opened up, and just like with Photopia, Clip Studio Paint, as well as most other drawing software, has layers. So I'm going to show you what some of the different brush tools can do. Because Photoshop and Clip Studio Paint, when you're drawing, it's all about the brushes. So we have some very standard brushes here, and you can change the size down here. But we have some standard brushes that just make a line, which is fine if you want a line. But maybe you want something that looks more like a pencil. They have a pencil brush. Or maybe you want something that looks more painterly. We have those, and then this, and a lot of different textures. If you want something very soft, there's airbrushes, and maybe you just want a bunch of stars. If for some reason you needed stars.
So how do you convert those to color? Are you going to do?
Someone asked how you change the color, and there's a color wheel down here. So maybe I want this to be red, and now we have red stars or red lines, and you can change it to blue, and basically any color that can be made. And I'm just going to delete all of that. And then there's also a number of different lasso tools you can use. So we're just gonna draw something here. I promise I can draw, but I don't have anything in mind right now. So if you needed to move part of your drawing, you can absolutely do that. You can, or if you wanted to make a more irregular shape, you can do that. And that's just with the lasso tool. And then move it around. What else do we have? We have word bubble, not word bubbles. We have, if you wanted to type something, you can do that. And it's a very versatile program. But you probably want to see how this works from a more practical drawing standpoint. And for that, I am going to open up one of my drawings here. This is going to be the drawing that we will be raffling off today. So where did I put that? Desktop. All right, and then it's this one. It's going to take a moment to load. Okay.
What is it? Is the pressure sensitivity the hardware or the software?
So the pressure sensitivity is the hardware. With the tablet I'm using, it has a few thousand, I don't remember how many, but it has a few thousand levels of pressure sensitivity.
Well, that sounds like enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although you want to make sure you have a program that will actually read the pressure sensitivity. So like Microsoft Paint, which comes standard with everything, that won't read it.
Right.
So
What about like a Procreate, something like that?
Procreate does.
Okay. And
but-
that's one that's pretty reasonable on an iPad. You can get the app pretty reasonably.
Yeah, Procreate is very inexpensive, and from everything I've seen, it's easy to use. The one drawback is that it is only for Apple products, which is why I don't have it. This is an HP.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, now we're going to open, right? I want to make sure I tried opening this one way and it didn't want to open. I think it was because, what's it doing? Why is it doing that? I think it's just taking a moment to load. This is a pretty large file.
Generally, are those the finished pieces pretty large files?
My finished piece, oh, there it goes. My finished pieces are very large because I work really large and I have a whole bunch of layers. All of these layers are very important except the ones that aren't.
Yeah. That's kind of like perspective. It only matters,
Yeah.
if it's wrong.
So this is the finished piece that I did. And I'm going to break it down so you can see exactly how the different layers work together. Because there's a lot of blending modes being used. A lot of opacity has been changed. So I'm going to start getting rid of some of these layers and then explain how they're all working together. So let's go down here. So it's not showing up. Oh, that's because I have that turned on. Okay, so this is the sketch that I did initially, and I'm going to turn up, just like you can change different blending modes, you can also change opacity, and I had the opacity turned down on a lot of these. So I'm going to turn this up, and you can see exactly what I was doing. You can name your layers. I did not name mine very well. So this was the initial sketch that I did for this, just to get the idea of what I wanted it to look like. And then after that, I started outlining things. And this is, I had 2 layers that were for the outline because I would start drawing one and then I'd draw another. And if I wanted to erase part of it, then I had it on a separate layer, so I could do that easily. And then let's turn this.
How much time are we talking about here?
This took so many hours. I don't know how many, but it felt like it took forever.
It looks like it would have.
Thank you. So yeah, then I drew in the line work here, and after that, I added color, and you may be noticing this looks a little different from the final product because, well, I'll show you that in a moment. Another thing you can do with layers is you can group them. So this has several different layers grouped in a little folder here, and each layer does something a little bit different. And again, you can change how opaque it is, and I don't want to do that. But you can change how opaque it is and a number of different things.
Now, how long did it take you to learn this program?
This program, it didn't take very long to learn, but the reason for that is before I got Clip Studio Paint, I had been using Adobe Photoshop for years, which is also a great drawing program. And then this is very similar to that. It
looks similar.
It has a few features missing and a few features added, because it is a different company after all. But it was really easy going from one to the other.
Is this something that one could teach themselves to use?
Yes.
Yeah. With practice?
Yeah, a lot of digital art is just learning it because you wanted to do a thing, and you just mess with it until it works.
Everything I've learned on Procreate, I've pretty much learned from YouTube.
Yeah.
I just get on YouTube and take tutorials on there. It's very helpful.
It is. There's a few things that I've been like, hey, I want to make a drawing that looks like it has a... I dropped my pen. I want to make a drawing that looks like it has more of a parchment paper texture to it, and I learned how to do that. And a lot of it is just playing around with it.
Playing around with it.
And over the years, you learn things.
What would you say it's takes about the same amount of time than getting a pencil and paper out?
Probably.
About the same amount of time once you get used to it?
Yeah, this took me hours to do just this drawing. Each one takes me a really long time. So yeah, it is not instant art. There are some things you can do faster, like if you want to make a gradient, you can do that in just a couple clicks. Whereas with paint, you'd have to, paint the whole thing. But there are things that it's all a matter of how much practice you have, how good you are, and what exactly you're trying to do.
Okay.
So after I colored all of this and drew all of it, I wanted to add some lighting. So what I did is, and I do have a video of me doing this whole drawing, a time-lapse video. It's not 8 hours long, I promise. But I do have a time-lapse video, and at one point, the time-lapse goes completely blue, and it's because I added in this layer. I colored the entire canvas blue, and I erased little parts of it that I wanted to be lighter. And this is set to multiply, which usually makes things really dark. I can show you what it initially looked like. It initially looked like that. No, that's darkened. Not there. It looked like that as I was working on it. There. Yeah, now it's set back to there. And then I did another one. This one is set to color burn, and it created more of an iris effect. It's really just a lot of shading. And then after I was done, I did another, this one's more of a tan layer, and set that to overlay, and it made it much warmer than it initially was because I made that very blue with all the shading. Why do I keep looking at the big projection? It's all in front of me. I don't know. then I found this layer, which I really liked, but didn't make it into the final product.
It's very nice.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Sometimes you hide a layer and you forget that it exists. And then I have this, which is my watermark. But that's not in the print because the watermark is just protected online in case someone tries to steal it and claim it as their own.
So what made you decide on the final tones and look, and again, without sounding critical, because I don't mean to, but it's still rather dark. Did you choose to like have the outside light more prominent than all the interior stuff, or the way you highlighted it? So what was your thoughts on the final? It's that over there, right?
I did. He's asking about how I chose to make it look like this with all the shading. And I do wish I'd left this layer in there because it made it a little brighter. But I didn't because I forgot. But no, I know what you meant. It's okay. It's a good question. But I did want this to be more of a dark and moody piece. This particular piece was inspired by, I don't know if you've seen this, but some people do urban exploring in abandoned hotels or stores or just abandoned buildings. And I took a lot of inspiration from there, like with the plants coming in, and that's what this is based off of. So,
Well, it's good to know that digital artists think when they're done, yeah, I probably should have done it differently. That's
yeah.
nice to know that you feel that way too, because I feel that way about my paintings all the time.
yeah, I feel
Should have
that way
done
all the
this
time.
way or that way, but
Oh. It can be easy to go back, but sometimes it can't. Because this program, you do have an undo button. I've been clicking Control Z periodically as I've been looking through this. You can go back. I think you can go back about 50 spaces, which sounds like a lot, but when you are sketching a bunch of tiny little lines, it's never enough. So there are some mistakes that you just get stuck with. And there are some mistakes that you can change. For instance, if you save and you close out and then you go back to it and you go, oh, I need to undo that line. You can't because it has gotten rid of all of your history, basically. Or if you, because I've done it a couple times where I was working on something and I made the canvas smaller, and then I went back to work on it, and the canvas was so I couldn't make the canvas big again, because once you shrink it down, you can't blow it back up again.
So in some ways, like when I paint in acrylic, I just keep covering up my mistakes until I'm satisfied with what I got. So you came to a point with it, but maybe not well.
Correct. A lot of people do more painterly techniques with this. I don't. It all depends on how you work, how you want to work.
Mm-hmm.
But you can make as many layers as it will let you. I have not found how many is the limit, but it is very high. It's higher than I've reached, and I've made a couple hundred layers. Well, not here specifically, but in the past.
well, the lighting effects you did on that original are just dramatic.
Thanks.
Even I prefer that one, but that's my taste. But
That's fair.
yeah.
Now, to see this in action, I'm going to bring up my video. Another cool thing about Clip Studio Paint is that you can get time-lapse footage of your file as you make it. It's under, is it under File? Yeah, it's under File Time-Lapse. You can record time-lapses and export them. The one downside is that it does make your file very large, and it takes forever to save. So, there we go. This is my video. It's also on my YouTube channel. So, let's see.
What is your YouTube channel?
Someone asked what my YouTube channel is. It's just my name, Cassidy Bueter. You're welcome. Let's see. Gonna bring it up here. Eventually. Maybe not. Oh, there we go. This is what it looks like sped up really fast. I don't know exactly how long this took. I just had it set to play it back at, I think this is a minute long.
Yeah.
Here's where it goes blue. Oh, that's where I got rid of that layer. It's been a while since I've looked at this.
Quite nice.
Thank you.
Impressive. That's a lot of work.
The zoom in at the end, I did edit that in with a video program. Because I studied animation in college, so. And then, let's see, in here.
Do you want to come up here? You can come up here now.
So, because you just brought up that you do the animation.
Yeah.
So, like, do you use that same program to animate? Or is that something, because I was like, how do you go from all those layers and then have to do, like, a different, like, movement and things like that? Or is it just something totally different?
You can animate in Clip Studio Paint. As I think I mentioned earlier, Clip Studio Paint has two different versions. It has the cheaper version and the more expensive version. The more expensive version allows you to do animation. It's the version I have. Although I think I downloaded the cheaper version today because this is my dad's laptop I'm working off of. My usual computer, it does not move.
Now, would a larger setup, more advanced computer work better with this, or would a laptop just
I mean,
for the basic?
Yeah, a laptop does work perfectly fine. My computer, it's a bit beefier. It does things a little faster.
Okay.
Because my computer is a desktop.
Right.
It does not move easily. You try hard enough and it will. But and I've done quite a few short little animations in Clip Studio.
I've seen Moldy
This
Toast.
one and this one.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, this one's really. Excuse me. This one's
It's
really
really
fun.
cute.
Yeah.
We put that online for you, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I
Yeah.
posted it on Facebook. Yeah, this was done in Clip Studio Paint, and then just repeated a few times. I initially didn't do that. I initially didn't do the inverted colors until I edited it into a 15-second video. Because that I did in my video editing software, which is Modavi, I believe. Although we're not getting into that today. There is not enough time. And if you want to see what it looks like when I learn Clip Studio, this video is me learning Clip Studio Paint for the first time. And that's why it's recorded in a different way, because I didn't know you could do a time lapse with it. So this is just how I worked when I first was learning it. I'm not going to show the whole thing. It's 8 minutes long. But it's out there.
And this is on your YouTube channel?
Yes, Cassidy Bueter. And then I have
And
website.
spell Cassidy's last name Bueter.
Yeah. It's German.
Yeah.
So that's what time am I at?
A little after 7. You're about
Okay. How long do I have?
you can, another 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
All right.
Because I can open it to questions now.
Yeah,
That's about
I have a question.
where I
Which
ended.
was the one that you were able to lighten and darken just certain areas of a photo? Was that on Photoshop?
It's on Photoshop, Photopia. Most photo editing software
Okay.
has that. And it's Dodge and Burn. It's
Okay.
also on the handout. But yeah, Dodge and Burn, it comes from darkroom photography.
Mhm, mhm.
And that's why it has weird little symbols. Like Burn is a hand. And that may not make sense to you, but it's darkroom photography.
Yeah.
I've done it.
We grew up on darkroom photography.
Oh well, there you go. That's fair.
We know more about that than we do digital.
Yeah, I took a semester of it in college.
I have a couple questions. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead and come up here, Jerry.
Well, I'm showing my age here. Like, I'm generations removed from a lot of this computer stuff. I'm not very computer savvy, and I choose not to be, and that's my prerogative. So I have a couple of questions. First of all, just on a little side, I was a newspaper photographer along with a writer, reporter, editor. Boy, we would never, ever enhance any kind of photo in the darkroom. I've worked in darkrooms because you have to put the photo in the paper exactly how it is. And I kind of have a trouble with that, enhancing photos, but we're talking about two different areas. Then I was interested also, and I don't know your background. Are you also a painter, or what made you choose to do digital stuff as opposed to being a painter or some other form of art work? I
So-
just personally curiosity about that. That's all.
Oh, that's a good question. Basically, I started getting really into art when I was in about the 6th grade because I picked up a book at Barnes & Noble that was about drawing dragons because I was really into fantasy at the time. I still kind of am. So I was reading this book, and she did a lot of digital art, and that's what really got me started. That's what really started my interest in all of this. And then I kept doing it because in my generation, digital art is really popular. A lot of people do it. I really like how you can make some really crisp lines in it and really crisp colors. So that's basically how I wound up here.
Now, I believe what we call comic book art, or what we called comic book art, that's mainly done digitally now, and it's kind of nice to see how they achieve it. I never knew how they achieved it. Are you seeing this? Is it being accepted in the gallery world? I know it is in the contemporary galleries, but say the more traditional ones. Are you finding that you're still getting kind of, well, that's digital art, it's not real art? Are you still getting that?
Yes. Yes, I am. That's why at first I was just showing my lino-cut work in like St. Francis, because I didn't know if you'd accept digital art, because everything is a print. There is no original.
Well, it's Cassidy, it's nice for us to see how it's made, how it's developed. I've never seen how it's developed before. And it's basically has a lot of the same things that I do. I mean, I paint in layers.
Mm-hmm.
Not that many, but
Hey, that's fair.
wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers.
Yes, Sandy paints in a lot of layers, like 6 months worth. Any other questions for Cassidy?
Oh, I see someone back there.
Transfer a lot of your art to print files for commercial or fine art.
She asked if the files could be produced as fine art prints, G-clays, things like that.
They can. That's. I do have a print company that I really like in town. It's called Fast Print. They like PDFs, and actually, I should show you how to export things. So you can save things, but saving it is different from exporting it. Because when I save this, it's saved as, I don't remember the extension. Save as. Yeah, it's saved as a Clip Studio format file, which you cannot print. Because it's just showing you all the information for the layers. So when you save it, you want to go to, when you save it for printing, you want to go to Export Single Layer, and then pick the file extension that you want. Jpeg and PNG, they are usually the ones people like. They both have their drawbacks, and they both have their advantages. JPEG is really good if you're doing a photograph or a something with a lot of gradients in it, and you don't want a big file. But if you have something with really crisp lines in it, like what I tend to draw, you don't want a JPEG because it will compress it into a way that doesn't look very good.
Never heard that before. Never heard of that.
That's fair. Or, yep, PDF is usually used for documents, but some people like PDFs for printing. It depends on who's printing it. But PNG, I usually save my work as PNGs because while their files tend to be much larger, it does preserve a lot more of the detail. I do have something in the printout about like lossy and lossless, which I define in there. There's a little glossary of terms. Oh yeah, it's saving recovery information. It does that too.
So if you saved it as the program file, then does that give you the ability to go back in and keep working on it? It saves all those layers, you're saying?
So I was just asked if you save it as the programs file, can you open it back up and work on it again? And the answer is yes. It saves all of the data. I opened this today from a Clip Studio format file, which is just the thing that Clip Studio uses. And as you can see, all of the information is here from where I was last working on it. So I can just go back in and I can like edit this layer. If I wanted to like ruin it. But I can't undo this whole drawing because it's been too long. It's just because it doesn't save like your history basically. You just work forward.
Something else a lot of people like to do is change the background. Can you show them that?
So she asked about changing the backgrounds, like with photos.
Yeah.
Yes, you can do
Like
that.
your sister's photo.
It does take some time and patience and focus. So basically you would have to like cut out her image, and there's a few different ways to do that. One I was messing with the other day was the magnetic lasso, which it's taking a moment. But basically you would trace the outline. Is it doing it now? No. Come on, work for me. Oh, there it goes. Now it does it. But yeah, you trace the outline. And it's very fiddly. It works a little better if you have a solid background. Okay, it's not doing that for me. Come on. Be my friend, please. No? Okay. Anyway. So yeah, you can change the background. It's a little tricky. And takes practice. And as far as photo editing goes, I'm a little out of practice because I've mostly just been drawing for the past few years. I did bring something today that I photoshopped a few years ago. I don't have the original file, but I do have the finished image. This is just a JPEG. I know you can open a JPEG.
Do you ever use Adobe Illustrator?
I have used Adobe Illustrator in the past. Adobe Illustrator is more for vector-based images, whereas these days I normally work in raster. I know.
What does that mean?
Yeah, that is fair. So raster images are images that are made out of pixels. So like I said earlier, when you shrink something, you cannot bring it back up. And that is because every color is saved as its own little individual pixel. And that's what a raster image is. Meanwhile, a vector image is an image made out of math. Basically, you draw a shape, and it makes that shape the color. And you can make it as big or as small as you want because it records the math data of that shape, basically. That's the easiest way I can explain it. And it can be very fun to work in. It can also be very frustrating to work in. This is not going to open, is it? Windows used to have a really great photo software just to view a photograph, and then they changed it, and it's terrible now. Come on, can I open it in something else? Maybe not.
While she's waiting, are there any other questions? I ran out.
I don't know. No, I'm going to close Photopia right now. Maybe that's what's making it have problems. Just because I've got a lot of stuff open. Photopia is still pretty good from what I've experienced. Photopia is more photo editing based. Clip Studio is more about illustration and drawing. Because Clip Studio was built for drawing illustrations and comics. It's really good for those things. And it's pretty decent for animation. Where was I going? Over here. So, digital art. So I have this. So these are some of the vector images I did a long time ago. 2008. There we go. There's my cat. Except he's orange. He's not blue, believe it or not. Yeah, this I did in Illustrator. But I don't have any Adobe software anymore because I mentioned they're subscription-based, and it was getting a little too pricey for me to keep that up. So now I try to stick with software that's either a one-time purchase or free.
I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it does get expensive.
Yeah.
What are some of the software that would help with this that are free?
Yeah,
Do you have
They're-
them on the list there?
they're just the ones on the list are
Okay.
some of the ones I really liked. Yeah, I probably should have written down which are not.
Just go on there, Jerry, and the ones that they want your credit card, that is not free.
Right, I'll know.
Okay, let
So when I was first getting into digital art, which was around 2009-ish, I did get Photoshop Elements, and it was a one-time purchase at that time. I don't know if that is still true. As long as Adobe lets you still use the software and save, then you can absolutely use it. She asked about Photoshop Elements, which is, I don't know if they're still making it. I don't think they are, but it was a stripped down version of Photoshop, and I believe I need to wrap things up.
Yeah, let's take a 5-minute break, and we'll come back and do the business meeting.
Production facilities provided by Access Fort Wayne. Learn more under the Explore tab at acpl.info.